Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. As it is currently June the 30th, last day of June, 11:13 p.m. A little later than usual start. I was caught up with a lot, so a few things I want to just go over before I actually talk about the week of Astros baseball. A few things. If you hear noise in the background, once again, that is just my fan. It does get hot here in my studio, so I like to have the fan blowing in my face just to keep cool. Another thing, I did mention on my previous podcast last week that I was wanting to do a first half recap, and that's kind of, I just wasn't able to get around to it. Wednesday, I went to the game, got home late, was tired, and then I wanted to do it Thursday at the end of the series against the Pirates, but just I didn't have time really to get around to it, so I'm actually going to reserve tomorrow for that, and that's when I should have my guest, Keegan Lassard, to join me for that. That's the plan as of now, but I'm going to stick to my usual Sunday night Astros recaps here. So pretty good week for them. They went 4-2, so really couldn't have asked for a whole lot more, but not the prototypical way you might think. So they actually lost 2 of 3 to Pittsburgh, and then they swept the Mariners. So anyway, you can go 4-2. I'll definitely take. So that was nice. Back to 21 games over 500. Last week was kind of a rough week. Well, it was. They went 1-6, but it's nice to get back onto the winning track after beating Pittsburgh in the opener on Tuesday. Winning 2 straight looked like things were starting to turn around, and then they get absolutely dismantled both Wednesday and Thursday, losing 14-2 and 10-0. So they weren't even competitive. Both games seemed like they were over after the first 3 innings. So yeah, that looked bad. But to get back on the track, or get back on track, Mariners usually a team that we handle pretty well. So I believe we're like 9-1 against them this year. So we do a lot of damage against them, as well as the Oakland A's in our division. So yeah, the Angels, we've only played twice. We beat them both times. In fact, we play them this coming week, but good week all in all, altogether. 4-2, as I said. So they're 53-32, I believe, which is good enough. The division lead did shrink as Texas continues to play good baseball, surprisingly, but they're 5.5, I believe, or 6.5 now. So Texas lost back-to-back games. But they had the lead down to about 4.5 there, and it wasn't looking really good. Garrett Cole pitch today was very, very good. Verlander still giving up his home runs, so we'll sort of have to wait and see when it comes to Verlander. We're numb to it. You just expect him to give up about 2 home runs at least each time out. So he hasn't been, sharp as in, 1-2 runs. Because even the previous however many starts, 2 or 3, it seems like it's more like, you used to just give up solo shots. I feel like Saturday, gave up a 2-run shot to Tim Beckham, and then who else? Domingo Santana hit one like halfway up the second deck, opposite field. So gave up 3 runs. He actually gave up 4 altogether. Had to suffer for the no decision as Presley gave up a home run. But I'm kind of skipping ahead in the week. Just they did get Springer back on Tuesday, along with Colin McHugh, which something I did mention towards the end of last week's podcast. The corresponding moves for that was Remy Guzman back into AAA and Rogelio Armenteros. So we were kind of thinking maybe Miles Straw, but they decided to just go one person shorter in the bullpen, bringing up Springer and McHugh for that. So I don't disagree. I think that I didn't want to see Miles Straw back in AAA. I don't think he deserves to go back to AAA. He's too valuable with his speed. And we'll just kind of have to wait and see. When Correa and Diaz get back, those are when the tougher decisions will be made, because you're looking more so. Tyler White will definitely will be gone for sure, And then the other decision is going to be, I mean, you got Marisnik, you got Tony Kemp, you got Miles Straw. I think Kemp and Marisnik are both out of minor league options. So it's going to be a tough decision. So we'll just wait and see. I mean, that's still weeks down the road. Correa and Diaz both should be coming back right after the All-Star break. So, but anyway, so like I said, they lost. Well, they won the first game. Garrett Cole pitched on Tuesday after the off day Monday, and they won 5-1. He was very good. Not a whole lot going on there, but they won. So, I mean, I'm not going to go through every game, but Garrett Cole pitched well. He's been very good his last however many starts. And in the next two games, Framber Valdez completely choked. Had a bad start Friday, or was it Thursday? Thursday, I believe, in New York, where he gave up 6 runs in 4 innings. Gave up 6 in about 3 on Wednesday there. In fact, he was so bad. Well, I mean, he got taken out after that, but that's back-to-back starts where he was giving up about 6 earned runs. He got sent back to AAA. So, trying to think. I think they brought up Gudwan, so he, for some reason, finds himself on this team way too much. But you just live with it. At least AJ's not using him in tough, high leverage, which would be completely boneheaded. But he hasn't used him in a lot of tough, high leverage situations. They're up big or down big, game's kind of out of hand. That's when you use Gudwan. So that's sort of the move this week after Wednesday's game. Thursday's game, Peacock, who was also just equally bad, as bad, if not worse than Valdez the prior day. Also very, very much struggled. He's actually in the IL now, so they put him, he's been dealing with, it's a discomfort, like right shoulder discomfort or whatever they call it these days. I'm trying to think. I don't know off the top of my head that corresponding move. You know, if somebody goes in the IL, you're allowed to bring somebody up. So I don't necessarily know who that is, but I mean, you send Valdez down, and now that Peacock's in the DL, you really only have 3 starters with Miley, of course, Garrett Cole, and Justin Verlander. So yeah, that's what you're looking at. I mean, with the All-Star break things, this coming week, I mean, we have a day off tomorrow. We have 2 games against Colorado, then another day off. So kind of mix and match. As of now, a starter for Tuesday has not been announced. Might be just a bullpen game. So we'll wait and see there. And then you could use Miley on Wednesday because that would be regular rest for him with the day off. So he pitched on Friday. Yeah. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, it'd be regular rest for him. And then you go into another off day, and then you could just really go back to Verlander, I would think. Yeah, it'd be regular rest. But you'd go Verlander. I don't know exactly how AJ's going to do this, but you could go Verlander Cole to start that Angel series. And again, like bullpen by committee for the Sunday game. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see which way he goes, but I'm not really concerned yet about this. It'll be interesting. But I mean, Valdez has been terrible. Peacock's been very inconsistent. He's had some very good starts, some very poor starts. He's better served over on the bullpen. Also with Colin McHugh back into the bullpen, they actually could use him for a spot start. I would not give him back his spot in the rotation. I don't think he's pitched enough. He'd been hurt for a while. It's not like he proved himself in the bullpen. But he's also better served in the bullpen. I think Peacock and McHugh, both. I mean, they're not setup type pitchers, but to eat up innings for bad starts or games that are up, you're either up or down big, that's where they're sort of valuable. So we'll just have to wait out. A lot of things going on with the shakeups, injuries. Just, Alvarez even hurt himself, was out. Returned today, drove in 3 runs, so he's back doing his thing. Be interesting because they do go to Colorado here, and there's no DH. So and they don't want to use Alvarez in left field just because Colorado's spacious ballpark. There's a lot of ground to cover. So, but I mean, I'd be willing to give it a chance. His bat's too valuable to put just Brantley. I mean Brantley. Reddick. I'd even put him at first base. I mean, he can't be terrible. It's usually where you put your worst defensive player at first base. But, I mean, I'd definitely trade off Tyler White or Alvarez for White. White's not a bad defensive first baseman. In fact, he's probably above average. But I think the bat's more important, especially playing in Colorado where the ball flies. So, anyway, they got absolutely dismantled Wednesday, Thursday. The starts were a big part of it, but also the offense didn't really show up. So it was just bad. If you can't score and you really can't pitch, you're going to have games like that. It was just kind of embarrassing, I guess, is the way I'd put it. Because even if you go back to the prior week, the Sunday prior to the last week, the game against Toronto, they lost 12-0. So it's like they get blown out and then they win. I don't know. It's just I don't like blowouts because it kind of ruins the game, especially if the opposing team puts up a lot of runs early. But anyway, I mean, they all count the same. It's a loss, it's one loss, and then you move on. So feeling good because they were able to get the sweep. So it's always nice to go into a day off of a win, especially when you've won 3 straight. So things are okay. I'm trying to think here. So, Presley got the save. Well, there wasn't a save today, but he did come in and get a key out in the 8th. On Saturday, he actually gave up a run to tie it. He gave up a home run to Daniel Vogelbach. And Yuli Gurriel actually had back-to-back walk-offs. Friday, he had a walk-off home run. And then Saturday, he had a walk-off double. He also was out of the lineup today because he had a wrong step when he was trying to leg out a ground ball. So it's just like injuries, even though these aren't big ones, like the one with Alvarez, the one with Gurriel, we'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, it's like never ending. Excuse me. So, yeah. And we're slowly getting better with Springer and Altuve back. And, I like the first 4 or 5 in the lineup. You think about Springer, Altuve, Bregman, Brantley, Alvarez, Gurriel. I like that 1 through 6 very much. Give me 1 second here. All right, sorry about that. Needed a drink there. Just losing my voice for a minute. But anyway, so yeah. I mean, so Verlander got the no decision, so he's still 10-3. ERA's at 2.84 something. Looking at my phone here as I do this. But let's see here. 2.86 ERA. And Garrett Cole, who won today, now 8-5 with a 3.24 ERA, I believe. 3.28 ERA. So both made the All-Star team, along with Presley's going to be there. And we have Michael Brantley, Alex Bregman, and George Springer all starting. So I think 6 All-Stars is more than all the other teams. 3 starters. Altuve didn't make it first time. And I mean, he started 4 consecutive years at second base, but dealing with the injury definitely hurt him. And he hasn't been great. I mean, he's hitting 240s, 250s, so he hasn't had the greatest of seasons. But that's just a quick All-Star update. Got another week for that. But having 6 Astros represented is kind of a fun thing. Make the game more interesting, maybe, for me. I mean, I used to get into the All-Star game, but lately, I don't know if it's the fact that it really doesn't mean anything anymore, or what it actually is. I just don't really care for it, I guess. It used to be like the one game that actually mattered because it gave the, whoever won AL or NL would give them their pennant winner. the home field advantage in the World Series. So now they took that away, which is fine. I mean, it's just a fun game. But, yeah, I just feel like the last 2 years I haven't really cared that much about it. So we'll see how things go. Home Run Derby, of course, that's kind of faded off the map. I don't think a lot of people care about that. I don't know. They've changed the format to try to keep this popular. And if Bregman's in it, which we don't know yet, he hasn't been announced yet, but that would actually give me a little bit of interest if we have a representative there. But anyway, so you lead the back-to-back walk-offs, and then today they put up 2 runs in the first, put up a run in the third. Garrett Cole did give up a home run to, God, what's his name? This is an initial first name here. It's a J.P. Crawford. First inning home run, and then he shut him down the rest of the way. In fact, the bullpen did so as well. And yeah, I mean, we were able to add some runs in the 8th inning there. Had the offense kind of struggling there for a little bit because they got scored 2 runs Wednesday. They were shut out Thursday, and they only scored 2 runs Friday. In fact, there was a stretch where it was like 23 straight consecutive innings without a run. So. And then even in Saturday, I mean, they put up 5, 6 runs, but all 5 were in 1 inning, kind of sparked by an error, felt like. But today was nice, especially adding those 3 insurance runs in the 8th inning there to make things a lot easier in the 9th. So, yeah, I mean, things are going good. I want to say that they're out of their stretch here because it was 9 of 11, and when it looked like after they beat New York in the finale and they beat Pittsburgh to start, it looked like they were climbing out. And then they got absolutely, like I said, murdered the following 2 games. So picking it back up was nice, taking all 3. And then Colorado's a pretty decent team, so I'd be looking at a split there and then at least taking 2 or 3 from, taking 2 or 3 from LA. Going to the All-Star break, 22 games over 500. Would definitely take, so that's what it would be, right? 22, yeah, it sounds right. So a 3-2 week. I mean, they only play 5 games, so it'll be a short week next week for you, and then you'll have the All-Star break. So I'll have 5 games to talk about next week, and then only 4 the following week, All-Star break, things like that. So anyway, not a lot to talk about. Pretty much covered injury and acquisition move, things like that. So I mean, Brad Peacock's the only one as of now that's really gone with the DL, and you got McHugh and of course Springer back, and Alvarez dealt with something, and then of course Yuli Gurriel. So we'll wait and see, but that's about it on the injury front. Trying to think, Tyler White's still Tyler White, Hector Rondon. That's just going to be my list for the majority of the year. I mean, nothing really has changed my mind. Josh James really moved up my list on the good side just because I trust him now in the bullpen. He looks a lot better than he did to start the season. So when it comes to him and Will Harris and Ryan Presley and Roberto Osuna and all of them, I have the utmost faith. I talk about guys I'll ride or die with, and they're definitely there for that. So anyway, I'm not even at 20 minutes. I'm going to wrap things up a little bit early. By the way, Wade Miley, a guy I didn't really mention, had a few tough starts but was really good on Friday. In fact, pull up the numbers real quick. And tomorrow when I talk to you, it's really going to be statistics, numbers related, just because of the fact that it's a recap, and I want to get you full stats of each player and sort of give you my report card on each of them. And that'll be a fun, sometimes I go over to a lot of players doing these recaps, and I'm not really going to do that today. That's why this podcast will end here shortly, but tomorrow will definitely be heavy into analytics and numbers and what I think of players. And if Keegan's with me, which I expect him to be here, it'll be a little bit more fun having him on board and getting his thoughts along the way. So, but let's see here. All right. So Wade Miley, who got the no decision because the team couldn't score on Friday. He, let's see, he's got a 3.39 ERA, and his record is 6-4. So those three, I mean, when you think about Verlander, Cole, and Miley are the three best pitchers. I think they'll be making a move at the deadline. So for that, or even a bullpen, if you could add not only a starter but even a bullpen piece, that would definitely be the big needs. I think the offense will be fine when they're fully healthy. Yeah, Alvarez has been a big boost, but to get Correa back in that lineup, I think that'll definitely make things a whole lot better. So yeah. But anyway, I'll wrap things up there. I'm not going to go too long here. I know I kind of went overboard last week, a bunch of different directions, but please, please, please subscribe to my channel. I'm doing this every Sunday night, so if you ever miss any games or want to hear my viewpoints on Astros baseball, please give me a listen and comments. I'd love to hear anything good, bad. If I screwed up on anything, please let me know. I'm always looking for feedback, so please subscribe so you'll get my videos. And like this, share it with your friends, any Astros fans, or just baseball fans in general. And tomorrow should be a fun show with first half recap. So they played, just real quick, they played 85 games, so 77 left. And I wanted to do this right at 81, but like I said earlier, I wasn't able to get around to it. So anyway, again, we'll talk to you shortly, less than 24 hours from now. It'll probably be in the afternoon around 4 or 5, I'd say between the hours of 4 and 7, but who knows. But I do plan on talking to you tomorrow, and we'll see you then. We'll go from there. But yeah, I'll wrap things up there, and we'll talk to you very soon, tomorrow in fact. So see you then.